right? You see it?
It's pending. Okay, yes.
Just gonna give it a minute to allow everyone to hop on here, guys. This video is going to be posted into the group. So if you are rewatching this after it's live, you may have to fast forward a minute or two. I'm just going to give everyone a chance to hop on here before I actually get started. Thank you guys for joining. Super excited to do this, by the way. It's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And obviously with this whole pandemic going on, we're all locked inside. So what better time, right? Hi, Melissa. What's up, Adam? Bernard, Suzanne. Hey, guys. Eddie, Mike, Brian, Ashley, Jay. Thank you guys for joining. Gina, Max, Lauren. Awesome. We do have about 50 members in the group currently. So I'm just going to give it, like I said, 2-3 minutes just to allow everyone to hop on here. So again, if you're rewatching this after the live is taking place, you might have to fast forward a half hour. 2-3 minutes or so, maybe 5 minutes the most. Thanks, Melissa. Me too. What's up, Ryan? Thanks for joining. So the purpose of the course today, or the class today, guys, is I am going to be touching on every subject that I'm going to be going over for the entire course that begins next week. I'm going to be giving you a little bit of tips and tricks on each subject today, as well as bring on somebody that is a living, walking testimonial for me and the course, so you guys can see that what I'm teaching actually has proven results. So I'm going to give it just one more minute before we hop on, because people can rewatch this and they can join in during the live. So just bear with me for one more minute and we will get started. Also, too, guys, by the way, my team member, Michael Karch, is in the group. He's watching this live right now. Mike is one of my top team agents, and he's also a guy that I took under my wing when he wanted to get into the real estate business with zero real estate experience. For his entire first year, he just kind of shadowed me, listened to all the things that I teach, soaked everything up like a sponge. And then in his first full year, Mike had a phenomenal year, sold almost 20 houses. I think he made nearly 6 figures in his first year, which is almost unheard of. I mean, the average realtor sells 3 or 4 or 5 houses a year. So this guy's crushing it, and he is walking proof that what I'm going to teach you guys really, really does work. So let's get started. Anyone else that wants to join can join in. Yeah, so you saw, okay. So what's up, guys? Thank you again for joining. I'm going to get right into it. So the class syllabus is broken into 3 parts, okay? I did that because I think that we're all at different levels in real estate currently, right? There's some people that are beginners, some people that don't even have their real estate license yet that are considering getting their real estate license, which I think is awesome. I also have another part that's going to go deep into real detail. So for people that have had their license, that are starting to go on listing presentations, really starting to brand themselves and their business, I'm going to talk about all that stuff too and what to do to master that. And then for people that really kind of have been in the business and really just want to take it to the very next level and become a top producer in your market, the final portion of the course is geared towards that. So there will be 3 sections. I'm going to talk to you guys more about all that stuff at the end, but I'm going to touch on everything right now, from what to do in your very, very first 60 days in the business, all the way to what to do to become that top producing agent. So let's jump into it. First thing I want to talk about is intro to real estate. Okay, so I'm going to just give you guys a little backstory of myself, how I got into real estate. What happened here? And also bear with us as we go through any possible technical difficulties. This is our first time doing this, so hopefully we won't have too many, but bear with us if we do. All right. So First thing I want to talk about is intro to real estate and how I got started. So, funny story. Out of college, I owned two different businesses. The most recent was a frozen yogurt franchise. So I've always been an entrepreneurial type of person. Always been into sales, which I think a lot of real estate agents can relate to. Right? I think a lot of realtors get into the business because they're entrepreneurs. They're natural salespeople. They like working with people and enjoy that whole sales process. So that was me totally from day one. I mean, my first business, I think I was 8 years old. And I was selling burned CDs to my classmates, right? So fast forward, graduated college, started a frozen yogurt franchise, pay by the weight, the whole nine with that. And so started getting slow in the wintertime, wanted to get my real estate license because I was one of those guys that figured, hey, I can get my real estate license part-time, do this on my own time, sell a couple houses a year and make some extra money, right? That's what everyone thinks that they can do in the beginning. Obviously, I was naive, didn't know anything about the business. Sure, there are some people that can do that, but it's very, very difficult. And I think a lot of people that go into the business thinking that that's what they're going to do are shocked and unpleasantly surprised at how much goes into this business. I know recently we hired a team manager when we were growing the team about a year ago. And after just about a week or so, he said to me, he's like, oh my God, I can't believe how much actually goes into the day-to-day operations of real estate sales and how much actually goes into what needs to be done to get clients, keep clients, make sure that they close, right? So there is a ton that goes into it. So again, I got my license thinking that I was just going to be a part-time guy, sell a few houses a year, make a couple extra bucks. But fortunately, when I was in class, I ended up meeting a friend of a family member at a barbecue. We started talking, getting to purchase a summer house in Ortley Beach. So originally I'm from Toms River, born and raised on the Jersey Shore. And at the time I was like, awesome, that's great. I'm getting my real estate license right now. You could be my first client, So I showed him houses. The week I got my real estate license, I said, you know what, let's do it. So I started showing him houses, and at the time, I thought it was because I was great. Fast forward now, I realize I got super lucky, and that person wanted to make an offer on a house after just the first day of me showing them homes, which was awesome. Unheard of almost now, but it was awesome at the time. And so he ended up getting an offer accepted on a home. It was about $480,000. Now, I was 23 years old. I just got my license a few days prior to that, and I had a buyer that went under contract on a $480,000 house. So I was ecstatic, right? I was already spending the money, like I'm sure a lot of us do. And I got a wake-up call and a reality check pretty quickly when I went back to my office at the time, and my broker, his brother, had been in the business for, I don't know, 70 years, or what it felt like, right? He was an older gentleman, been in the business his entire life. And I remember seeing him and this was just a few days after I had met him, I just got hired. And I said, hey, Jack, I just sold my first house. And he looked at me like I had 10 heads, and I couldn't understand it. And he was like, what do you mean you sold your first house? You just got your license 3 days ago. And I said, yeah, I know. I took a guy out to see houses, and he got his offer accepted. And he started laughing at me, and I'll never forget it. He laughed at me, and I felt so stupid. And he was like, you did not sell anything. He's like, you put a house under contract, totally different. He goes, talk to me when you have the check in your hand. And that was my first lesson, really. At the time, I was like, wow, this guy's kind of a dick, But he made a whole lot of sense now, and now I get that. And now that's something that I preach to my team, is following through and making sure that the deal closes. You cannot count a deal until the check is in your hand, until the funds are done, the closing is over. And that's a super important part of the real estate process. So next thing I want to talk about is getting into real estate sales. So that was my dive into real estate. Fast forward 60 days later, when he was supposed to close the house. So he was supposed to close on a Friday. we got a call from the bank saying that they needed to extend the closing to that Monday, 3 days later. So at the time, I figured no big deal. I'll wait an extra couple days. I already waited this long. That was on a Friday. That night, Hurricane Sandy hit. And I don't have to say what happened next. The house was in Ortley Beach. It literally got washed away. No more house. Gone. Along with my deal, my check, my commission, everything, right? It was a crazy, crazy time. I think a lot of you guys are from the Jersey Shore, so you remember that time. But it was mayhem. So my first experience in real estate was not only, going back to 2012 when the market was not very good. We were just coming off a couple years of a crash in 2008. And first experience was my first deal getting washed away with a storm. And then I had to go into rental mode, right? Because the whole market shifted and everyone was looking for rentals because their homes were unlivable. It was it was a crazy time. But somehow through all of that, I got addicted to real estate sales and ended up selling my frozen yogurt business within 6 months. And I've been doing this full time ever since then, going into my 9th full year, which is awesome. I love the business and I can't say enough good things. So in that time, in those 8 or 9 years that I've been doing this, it wasn't all super high level success and top producer and teams. My first couple of years were tough. I'll be honest with you. My first year, I was fortunate enough to have my broker at the time kind of take me under his wing and co-list a few things with me. And so I ended up selling, I think it was like 8 or 10 homes in my first year. Probably 6 or 7 of those were co-listed with my broker where he kind of just gave me the business and wanted me to learn, which was awesome. But I figured, hey, again, young, naive, didn't know anything about the business, 23 years old, sold 8 or 10 houses in my first year. There was other agents in that office and agents in the business that weren't doing that. Even though it's not a super impressive number, I think it's still more than the average realtor sells. So at the time I figured, wow, I'm the best. I'm just going to go move to whatever market has the highest end homes because why not? I'll get paid more, right? So I did that in my second year and I moved to Red Bank. Moved to Red Bank, New Jersey, thinking, hey, the market's much better than Tom's River there. I can sell homes in Rumson. I can sell homes in Homedale. There's $5, $6, $10 million homes on the market in Middletown and Rumson. So I figured, why am I selling these homes in Tom's River for $200,000 and $300,000 when I could go up north and do this, right? So that's what I did. My second year, I moved up to Red Bank and figured, hey, I'm just going to kill it up here. So fortunately for me, one of the best things that happened to me was by just random luck, ended up meeting my next broker, which is my current broker today. And he was a guy that was just a few years older than me, but had been in the business much longer, and he was absolutely killing it, even in a time where the market was not doing very, very well. And he was crushing it. I don't know, maybe selling 40, 50 homes a year at the time, doing $350,000, if not more. And so for me as a 23-year-old, I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is what I want to be, And because he was closer to my age, he was relatable. And so again, he kind of somewhat took me under his wing. I moved to Red Bank. I joined that office in Middletown, and I got back to business, right? So in that time, I figured, hey, maybe I'll try flipping houses. Maybe I'll get into wholesaling. Everything that I think goes through a new agent's mind at the time. Needless to say, none of that worked. I couldn't even sell a home. I got by with close friends and family and people that trusted me, fortunately, and was just able to scrape up enough money to really pay my bills. But one of the things that I'm going to talk about in this course, and one of the things that hit me really hard, was the roller coaster cycle of real estate. And I think it's something that a lot of new agents don't understand, and it should really, really, really be explained to them. As soon as you get your license, you need to understand the roller coaster cycle of real estate, not only because the sales of real estate are seasonal. Yes, homes sell every day of the year. Christmas, Easter, summer, winter, doesn't matter. But the majority there's a lot more homes sold in the spring and fall time, right? Mostly spring. So because of that, you're naturally going to have a sales cycle where you're going to probably do more business in the spring, early summer. It's going to be a little bit in the fall, maybe a slight pickup, and you're really going to get slow between Thanksgiving and the New Year. That is a time for real estate sales. Everyone is in holiday mode. Usually the weather's not great. It's snowing. It's not the best time to look for homes. It's not what's on top of everybody's mind. Now, because everyone needs to live in a home, because there's sales every single day, there's still going to be business during that time, but you're naturally going to be slower, especially in the beginning when you're not doing a whole lot of sales. Think back to what I said earlier. The average realtor only sells, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 homes a year. So if you break that down over the course of a year, we're talking not one every other month. And if you're doing the majority of your business in the spring, maybe you're doing one a month in the spring, but then come fall, winter time, there's going to be 2, 3, 4 months where you might not have a sale at all. So I didn't realize that this roller coaster cycle, not only do sales fluctuate from season to season, but we have the natural timeline of a real estate sale, right? You get a client. Even if you can begin showing them homes, I'm talking about buyers now, because I think when you're a new realtor, you're not working with a whole lot of sellers. That comes with time and experience and credibility in the business. So I'm going to talk about all of those things, but let's say you're a newer realtor and you get your first client or a client. A lot of people don't realize that the timeline of that client and that deal before you get paid, at least 60 days, right? You have to meet with the person. You have to understand what they're looking for. You have to go out and show them homes. Even if you get extremely lucky and they want to buy the first house that you show them, you have to go through the negotiation process. You have to go through attorney review. Then you have to go through the sales cycle of inspections, appraisals. Most homes are not closing in less than 30 days right now, unless you have a bag full of cash, which a lot of people do not, right? We're getting mortgages. So you have a mortgage, it's a minimum 30, usually 40 to 45 days, if not 60 plus, before that loan is cleared to close. From that time, right, now you have to go to the closing, get your check, go to your brokerage, wait to get paid. You're probably not going to see a dollar, even if you meet your first client in day one, for the first 3 months of your career, right? And that's real. That's real. And so back to, even if it's not day one, even if you're in your first year or second year like I was at the time, still experiencing this roller coaster cycle, if you don't have a lot of business, or if a deal dies, that's another thing that they don't tell us in real estate school. Deals die all the time, right? Things that are out of our control, financing, inspection issues, appraisals, whatever the case is, deals die, right? So you can't spend that money immediately, because you have to plan that this is going to have to last you 60, 90 days, and there's a potential that you have zero at the end of that, right? Like, think about my first sale that I worked on for a good 2 or 3 months. The day before it was supposed to close, it got washed away with Superstorm Sandy. No one paid me for that, right? I put in 2 or 3 months of work, and I didn't see a dollar from it. And that's the reality of real estate. Now, if you are disciplined enough, and if you follow my advice and you don't get sidetracked with counting your dollars before you actually have them in your hand, there are things that you can do to eliminate that roller coaster cycle, and to make sure and to improve your chances of having a stable year, because that's our goal, right? We want to have, of course, you want to continue to increase, but it's impossible to just sell more and more homes every single month for the rest of your life, right? You're going to have stable months. You're going to have ups and downs, but you want it to be as stable as possible over the course of the year. And so I'm going to teach you guys some ways to do that. It's not just practical ways, but also things to kind of alter your mindset to make sure that, again, you're not counting your money before it actually is in your hands. So I think that's super important, something that we are definitely going to be talking about. Another thing that I want to talk about, or that we will be talking about, is what to do in 60 days. Now, again, I'm going to go through this, how the course is set up. So the beginning of the course is more geared towards newer agents and what to do in the very, very beginning, how to get clients. So we're going to be talking about exactly what to do in your first 60 days. This is something that I go over with my team all the time. I don't necessarily hire brand new agents anymore on my team, but a lot of the agents that are on my team are newer. And they're agents that maybe are only doing 3, 4, 5, 6 deals a year. And my goal is to take them to a minimum of 30 to 40 per year. So what we do to get them ready for that, I've developed a system that we do the same thing for every single agent every single time. First thing that we're going to do is make sure that everyone knows what you're doing. I see it all the time. People, they want to be a secret agent, right? They feel embarrassed telling people what they do, and it's crazy to me. And what I'm going to go into in depth in this course is how to tell people what you do, right? The biggest mistake that you can make is taking the classic route of, hey guys, got a real estate license. If you know anyone looking to buy or sell, hit me up. Doesn't work. Okay, you're getting lost in the mix with all the other 80,000 agents in New Jersey alone. That does not work. People want to see a specific way that you're reaching out to them that shows credibility, that shows that they can trust you, and that shows that you're a professional. So I'm going to show you not only how to do that, but I'm actually going to give you real templates and material that all you have to do is plug in your name and company and send it out to people. That is super, super important. And the reason why that's so important is because my agents, when they do that, it now immediately brings them to the next step of what to do in those first 60 days. And I'm going to talk about all that stuff in the course. So it's very, very important. I know a lot of new realtors, when they get their license, their biggest complaint is that, real estate school taught them the rules and the laws and ethics and things like that, but it doesn't really tell them how to get a client. And that's why we're in this, right? We're not here for fun. We're not here because we just love showing houses. I mean, I'm sure you do, but you need to get paid, right? You need to live. You need to support your family. So I'm going to show you guys how to your very first 60 days in the business, which is super rare, and it's something that I wish that I knew when I first started. So moving on, that's your first 60 days. Moving on, I'm also going to be talking about motivating factors and how to use discipline when motivation kind of is fleeting. So again, something that I preach to my team all the time. Now, I'm a little crazy. I send my team motivational texts probably 2-3 times a day. I think that they probably have me on mute at this point, but it's so important. Now, motivation can come from anywhere, right? Some people's motivation is money. Some people's motivation is quality of life, free time, being your own boss. Some people just love homes that much that their motivation is they just want to be around homes and see them all the time, which is awesome too. But finding your motivation and finding why you got into this career in the first place is going to be very, very, very important to staying consistent, because consistency is the number one factor that separates an average agent or an agent that is licensed for a year or two and then goes out of the business from the top producers. And that's a real stat. I think Max was in class recently. What is it, like 80% of agents don't have their license after year 2 or something?
More or less,
maybe even more. It's a crazy statistic. Like maybe 90% of people that get their real estate license don't have it year 3. And it's because, again, people don't tell you what to do to actually get clients to make money. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. But you have to stay consistent. And that's where the motivation and the discipline is going to kick in. If you're not motivated, because like I said, it's going to take you 3-6 months to get your first check, if not more. Deals are going to die. It can get frustrating, right? So if you're not motivated and know how to tap into that on a daily basis, it's going to be very hard for you to last through your first 6 months, your first year, your first 3 years. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that in 1 week, you're going to be selling 100 homes a year. It's almost impossible. But my goal is to take you from 0 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 and then the sky's the limit from there. And that's the progression that I took, right? So I was slow in my first 3 years. So the first year maybe 8 deals, the second year maybe 10 or 12, the third maybe 14 or 15, but that's when everything clicked. I stayed consistent long enough, and I put in enough work, and I researched the business long enough that from my third year to my fourth year, I went from 15 transactions to 42. And that was awesome, right? So in my third year, I might have made like $80,000. My fourth year, I broke 300,000. Now, at that time, I was 25, 26 years old. I was on top of the world, right? And that's what I want to show you guys, but I want to get you to 30 or 40 deals by year 2, not year 4 or 5. And so, again, motivation and discipline is something that I'm going to be talking about in the course in the very, very, very beginning, because I want you to identify what your motivation is, and I want you to then figure out what you have to do. Not even figure out, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do so that discipline can kick in when motivation is no longer there. So super, super important, something that we're going to be talking about right away so that you can take that on to the next stages of the course. The last thing that's in the very first part is how to get clients and keep them. Again, I said, when you're in real estate school, they're not telling you how to get clients. They're not telling you how to work with clients. They're telling you what the ethics and rules are of the business. I want to tell you exactly how to get clients and how to keep them, right? So one of the things that I realized, again, third, fourth year in the business when things really started to take off for me, was that my database and my network literally equals my amount of sales. You know, you hear the cliche all the time, your network equals your net worth. It's so true in real estate. Real estate is a numbers game. I tell my team all the time, one of the things that I absolutely love about real estate is that any single person that you run into, that you meet, that you see on the street, at the store, at school, whatever it is, they have to live in a home. They have to live somewhere, right? So every single person in the world is a potential future client for you, right? So very important that you know that, realize that, and use that to your advantage. So I have specific tasks and activities that my team does on a daily and weekly basis in order to grow your database. And it's not just growing your database with referral partners and going to networking events. Guys, networking events are old school, right? I used to do them. I use them for a different reason. I use networking events in the past and with my team now just to sharpen your social skills with other professionals and to sharpen your improv skills, right? Because being able to talk on the fly and talk about the market and continue small talk and get people to like you, which is so important in real estate, is a lot of improv. And so I teach that with my team. And that's so important in growing your network and your database. I have little tips and tricks that I've done with my team. For example, around Christmas time, when the business gets a little bit slow, one of the things that I had my team do, and we almost made it into a little bit of a competition, is, you know, using waiting in line to your advantage, right? So a lot of people, especially Christmas time, you're doing a lot of shopping, you're at Starbucks, you're at a restaurant, whatever it is. When you're in line waiting for something, it's usually a negative downtime. People are playing on their phone, they're getting frustrated. Why is this taking so long? Not for me and my team. We used waiting online as a challenge. Hey, anytime you're online for the month of December, start a conversation with the person in front of you or behind you. Could be about anything. But then what do you do once you start that conversation to close that client and to close that person and that lead and make them an actual client? That's what's important. That's another thing that we're going to be going over. And again, I'm going to provide you with all the step-by-step material of exactly what we do and how to do that. So that's very important. Another thing we're going to be talking about in the beginning is how to master the first impression. First impressions are something that I think a lot of us take the wrong way, right? A lot of people think of a first impression and they think, well, I don't care what people think about me, or I don't want to work with people that judge me, or don't judge a book by its cover. And those are all things that are respectable, and I totally understand. But the truth of the reality of the world is that people judge, and people play a story and make up something in their head from the second that they see you. From what car you're driving, to what clothes you're wearing, to how you shake their hand, to the first words that come out of your mouth and how you speak. That first impression in real estate, in life, but in real estate, is one of the most important things in the world. And you can literally land a client or push a client away in the first 10 seconds of meeting them. Literally 10 seconds is all it takes for them to play a bad story in their head, not trust you, not want to work with you. So over the course of these 8-9 years, I figured out how to master the first impression. And when I say master the first impression, it's not just about driving a clean car or wearing a fancy suit or shaking a hand firmly. Absolutely not. It's more about how to adapt to your audience and the person that you're speaking to. That is how you master the first impression, because not everyone is equal, and you have to be able to be a chameleon and adapt to your surroundings and adapt to the person that you're speaking with. And so I'm going to give you exactly how to do that, how to become a much more well-rounded person, how to adapt on the fly to those first impressions and knock every single one out of the park. I can't tell you how many times I've been on listing presentations or met people out somewhere, and they were like, you didn't even have to say anything. We knew we were hiring you as soon as we answered the front door. And that is powerful. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. Super, super, super important. Another thing I'm going to be teaching you guys is how to effectively follow up with clients and use your CRM system. So I'm a guy that, for the first few years in the business, I did not use a CRM. I thought that they were just way too much work, way too intricate. I thought it just took more time for me than than it was benefiting me, right? So I didn't use them. I wasn't great at follow-up. All of that has changed. I realized that follow-up is the key to closing deals and keeping clients. Now, one of the biggest things that I hear from people that are complaining about their real estate agent is that they don't hear from them. There's no communication, right? So communicating with people on a daily basis is one of the easiest things that we can possibly do. And it's also one of the most important things we can do. But we want to communicate with a purpose. So on my team and the agents that I coach, we follow up with a purpose. And I don't want to give everything away in this teaser, but I can tell you that we've found ways that literally with a 10-second text message, you will close twice as many deals, and you will convert twice as many leads into actual clients because they see the value they're getting from you. There's a lot of people out there. You guys got to remember, when you're in real estate, you get consumed with the day-to-day business and doing deals and dealing with sellers and buyers and attorneys and inspectors and appraisers every single day. And so it becomes monotonous, and it becomes the norm. These clients are not used to that. They don't know how the real estate business operates from the inside. They only know what they see on HGTV and what they see on $1 Million Listing, right? Or what they hear from their friend who sold 2 houses, so he's an expert, right? So they don't know. So the biggest complaint that I hear is that my real estate agent didn't do anything, or my real estate agent wasn't missing. I don't know. I didn't hear from them for weeks. I'm going to tell you how to correct that and how to take 1 or 2 follow-up calls or texts and immediately convert that client into a lifelong client. I'm telling you, this stuff will change your career, because a lot of people have these leads, right? What is a lead? A lead is someone that you've been in contact with that may want to buy or sell a home in the near future. That's a lead, right? There's hot leads, there's cold leads, there's warm leads. But a lead is someone that you spoke to that may want to buy or sell a house. A client is someone that is committed to working with you, that you are currently working with actively to find them a home or sell their home, right? Someone that you have their house listed on the market, someone that you're showing to this weekend. That's a client. A lead is just someone that just said, hey, I might be thinking about selling next year. Keep me in mind, right? But what do we do to convert those leads into real clients. That is where the magic happens. And that is how I've been able to take my team and grow so quickly, because a lot of people have these leads and they just let them sit there. And then other realtors take them, or who knows what happens. But every lead that you get is worth thousands of dollars. Don't let them just die in your phone, in your notebook, in your computer. You have to convert those to clients. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Moving on to the next chapter topic that we're going to be talking about is perfecting your craft, right? So one of the things that we're going to be talking about that I know is a hot topic right now is how to go virtual with your business. So I think we all understand virtual showings, right? There's a lot of ways that you can do that. My team and I have figured out some really, really great ways to do virtual showings. We've been prepared for something like this for a while now, and it's not because we predicted this or had any idea that something like this was going to go on, just because, you know, we're adjusting with the times, and technology and virtual, that is where the world is going. So it's inevitable that that's where the real estate market is going to go, right? So we've been prepared for this. So as far as buyer virtual showings, there's a lot of ways that you can do that, some more effective than others. We've figured out some of the most effective ways to do that, and we're going to continue to perfect that in the future, but I'm going to be talking about that in the course. And another thing that I think is going to be invaluable to you guys as far as going virtual with your business is the virtual listing presentation. Now, I'm not talking about just hopping on a live or a Zoom or a FaceTime call with that client. I'm talking about how to make a huge impact with a text message or an email. I've been using this for the past year now, even when we could go on in-person listing presentations. But this virtual first experience, the second I walk in the door, I already have it because they've experienced my virtual presentation. And I want to show you guys really quick. I want to show you guys really quick what it kind of looks like, right? So I send this as a text message, email, whatever I prefer, to my client. And this is what they see, right? So this is my virtual listing presentation, the Ventry team, New Jersey Shore's top real estate experts. Pretty impressive, right? Right from the start. And boom, they can, sorry, low battery. They can click through every page of my actual listing presentation. Okay, so I've got testimonials on there from past clients. I've got my bio. It's tough to see on my phone here, but I've got my bio, everything about myself here. I've got pictures and showcasing other homes that we've sold. I've got all of our partnerships on here, right? I've got stats about my company, and so I'm leaving nothing uncertain or to be questioned. Our entire marketing process right here, boom. EDDM mailers that we send, the importance of social media that we do, aerial photography, twilight photography, staging, accountability, accessibility, print marketing, right? It's all right here. The Ventry team talks about the importance of my team and why signing with a team is going to be way more beneficial for you than signing with a single agent, right? Everything is right here for someone to click through, just like I am right here. You know how impressive that is to somebody? Because most people have never seen anything like that. So in this class, not only am I going to show you everything that's in my virtual listing presentation, but I'm going to take you to the company that made it, and I'm going to give you a discount code so that you can make your own virtual listing presentation at the snap of a finger. That is going to get you a lot of business. That's worth the price of admission alone, okay? Next thing that I'm going to be talking about in this course, after we talk about going virtual, I'm going to be just talking about working with buyers, working with sellers in general, right? So you obviously want to work with both. Most newer agents start by working with buyers because you don't have as much responsibility as you do selling somebody's home, right? You need experience and credibility. You don't need it, but it helps a lot to sell somebody's home, right? That's why most new agents, they work with buyers, because a buyer's not paying a realtor to help them find a home. So they're less picky. They're more apt to hire a friend or someone that they just kind of want to help out because hey, it doesn't cost them anything, right? And they think you're just opening the door. So I'm going to show you how to prove your value to each and every buyer that you work with, and then how to take one buyer and convert that into 3 more additional buyers. Okay, that can honestly be done pretty easily, but people don't know how. Okay, and the same thing with sellers. I'm going to show you how to work with sellers, how to turn one seller lead into 3 more, but more importantly, how to get seller leads. I speak to agents all the time that are in the business 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Agents that are doing pretty good business, and yet 95% of their business is still working with buyers. And they ask me, how are you getting these seller leads? What are you doing? I can't break into the seller market. And it's difficult, but there's a strategic way to do that. Okay. And the importance of working with buyers, you'll hear the cliches all the time. You know, list to last or whatever they are. You need to be a listing agent if you want to last in this business and really be a top shelf, top level producer. You need listings. Buyers are great and you need those to pay the bills as well. However, you don't want to be driving people around all day, every day for the rest of your life. The power in the business, the best return on your investment, the smartest use of your time is working with sellers. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to get those seller leads and then how to close them, which brings me to my next chapter, the listing presentation. The listing presentation is something that I pride myself on. My conversion ratio when I sit down with a seller is extremely high. I go on listing appointments probably 2, 3 a week, not anymore because of what's going on, but when things were normal, I was going on 2, 3 listing appointments a week, if not more, and closing, I would say at least 90%, if not 95% or higher of those listing presentations. And so that's something that my broker has taught me a ton. And so when I was transitioning from my 3rd to 4th year, where I really took off, it's something that I worked on a lot with my broker, and we broke down everything. I'm talking about from the second you pull up to the house, what you do in your car before you even get out of the car, what you do when they're walking to the door to answer the door, what you do the first second you step foot inside that person's door is very, very, very important. And we've mastered exactly what to say and how to do it. And from that time, I've taken it and I've tweaked it and I've made it my own. And I think I've made it even better because honestly, I am so confident when I walk into someone's house. All I need is a half hour, 45 minutes with you, and 95% of the time, they're signing on the dotted line and I'm walking out of there with that listing. So I'm going to walk you guys through every single step of my listing presentation and how to master that, okay? Super, super, super important. I went on a listing presentation, guys, in last summer for a waterfront property. It was for sale by owner at the time that I had met with the seller. They told me that I was, so this house was for sale by owner for 6 months. They told me I was the 32nd agent to interview for the listing. They sat through 32 listing presentations. Who do you think got it? Okay, I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but I'm telling you what I figured out works. Okay, you're going to be competing with other agents. If you want to be a top level producer in this business, you can't rely on just getting listings from your aunt and uncle and cousin. It's not going to work. Okay, you have to be able to master that listing presentation, knock it out of the park every single time, and get clients to want to work with you, even people that don't know you from anywhere, right? So that's super important. Next thing I'm going to be talking about is how to then take your business, because at this point you've mastered how to work with buyers and get buyer leads and turn them into more buyers. You've figured out how to get seller leads and turn them into more seller leads. You figured out how to convert those seller leads into clients by crushing the listing presentation, okay? And maybe crushing a virtual listing presentation if we're still in these times. So now, how do you take all these skill sets that you've built and then take it to the next level, right? Because the average realtor maybe sells 4 or 5 homes a year. The average top producer maybe sells 25, 35 a year. The top 1% is selling 60, 70, 100. Right now, this year in 2020, I'm on track to sell 150 homes, if not more, despite the pandemic. Super, super proud about that. But it takes a lot of work, and it takes particular skills and particular things, right? And we do that every single day. So the final chapter of the course is how to get to that top 1% level. So we're going to be talking about a couple things with that. Mainly, how to negotiate like a shark, because negotiations are a big part of real estate. But a lot of realtors and a lot of real estate agents and people on the outside think that being a good negotiator is being as tough and as mean as you possibly can. It's not the case, okay? Kill them with kindness. I promise you, you will get so much further. I'm going to tell you I don't want to dive into it because I get so passionate about this, and I can't understand why people haven't figured this out. But I'm going to tell you exactly what to say and how to handle these negotiations that you're doing with other agents, and how to completely catch the other agent off guard and have them let their guard down. So a lot of agents think we're competing against each other, and it's agent versus agent. It's not, right? So I'm going to show you exactly what to say and how to go about the negotiation process to make them realize that and them work for you, okay? You're going to have the other agents negotiating with their clients in your favor. That is the key to negotiation, not trying to be as tough as possible, because that's not what wins, all right? So how to negotiate like a real shark, that's number one. Number two, how to set goals like a millionaire. Goals are something that I preach to my team that is imperative that every single agent on my team takes very, very seriously. So at the beginning of every year, we fill out an entire goal worksheet, and we talk about goals from everything from your financial goals to your spiritual goals to your health and fitness goals, to your relationship goals. And having goals in all aspects of life is very important in order to be succeeding at the top level of your industry, of your career. So I'm going to tell you exactly what fields you should have your goals in, how to make sure those goals are realistic and attainable, but also setting the bar higher for you. And I'm going to teach you how to work backwards to figure out exactly what you need to do on a weekly and daily basis to hit those goals. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to look over those goals once a quarter, every 3 months, and adjust them based on your production at that point and how you're feeling, okay? So we're going to dive into that so much. I have so much to say about that. It's something that has literally changed my life. I was a guy that didn't believe in it. I thought it was hokey, kind of like a vision board or something. Who needs goals? They're all up here, right? I know what I want to do. Wrong. Ever since I started defining my goals, writing them down, taking them extremely seriously, and being held accountable for them, my entire life has changed. Not just in real estate, my entire life. And last but not least, we are going to be talking about the listing presentation perfected. Yes, we spoke about that already. I'm sorry. Last but not least, we're going to be talking about mastering social media and branding. Super, super important. It's something that I get asked about all the time because I've created a brand. I'm not just a realtor, right? People know my brand all the time. Hey, do you have your own real estate company? I don't, but people think that I do because I've mastered my brand, and I know how to brand myself and my team so well that people think we're an actual company. We're part of RE/MAX, okay? I take advantage of all the things that RE/MAX has to offer, but I've branded myself in a way that people look at us like a reputable company and a real brand. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that, starting with your first, again, 60 days in the business and how to kick off that branding and how to be consistent with it over the years so that you too are looked at as an actual brand and not just another realtor. Social media is a very tricky thing. It's something that everyone needs to be on right now. It's something that has completely changed my life and my career. And it's something that I feel that in my industry, in real estate, I've mastered. I'm not a master of social media by any means. I don't have 1 million followers. But there's a difference between getting followers and likes and actually converting social media to real business in real estate. And that is what I have figured out. Okay. It's not about how many likes you get, it's how many deals you do because of your social media. That's what I'm going to teach you guys how to do. It's so, so, so important. When I first got into the business, remember, I was 23 years old. I was doing it part time. I didn't know how to get clients because I didn't have a course like this or someone to help me. So without any money or knowledge of what to do, being a young guy at the time, social media was just kind of emerging and catching on. Facebook was new. Instagram, I don't even think was available, but I had no money. I couldn't send out mailers, right? I couldn't run ads in the paper or magazines, 'cause that's what people did at the time. I couldn't run radio ads. I couldn't do any of that. So I had to post on social media because it was free. And I quickly realized that, hey, if I'm not able to knock on 100 doors a day, I'm not able to walk into 100 businesses a day and shake every single person's hand that I see, why can't I, from the comfort of my own home and computer, interact with all of these hundreds and thousands of people that I'm seeing here? So a light bulb went off and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to network on social media. And that's what I did. And again, I've done it in a way that is very strategic so that those contacts and the networking that I do on social media converts to real business. And there's a way to do that, guys. It's not just posting a lot or what you put. There's a system to it. And I teach my team it, and it's something that has been proven because for the first 3-4 years of my career, I had almost zero paid marketing. It was all social media. And I continue, social media is by far, the biggest lead generation source that I have currently. And it's the best return on investment that we have, hands down. So that's the course overall. I'm going to be diving real deep into each one of these topics. Again, I'm going to be giving you guys email templates and checklists and guidelines that you can look over after the course. Every video is going to be recorded and shared with the group, so you can rewatch this as many times as you want. You can watch it a year from now, 5 years from now. I don't care. This is yours to keep, okay? During the answering questions that come in, by the way, look over at the comments. Michael Karch was kind enough to just talk a little bit about what I've done to help his business, and he's proven results right there. So take a second to read what he has to say. It's real, it's genuine. Mike's a guy that had zero real estate experience 2 years ago. Now he's on track to sell, I don't know, 30, 40 homes this year, which is pretty awesome. So take it from him firsthand. Again, you're going to be able to rewatch all these videos at your convenience as often as you want. I'm going to be giving you real useful information to use. One of the things that I'm going to be giving you that I absolutely love, that my team uses every day, I've developed a lead generation guideline, a handbook, right? It's 12 of my favorite lead generation sources, the top 12 ways that I get people that I don't know to contact me and work with me in the future. There's 12 different ways that I do that. And one thing that I preach to my team, and I'm going to go in depth on every one of those 12 things. Every one of those 12 ways, I'm not only going to tell you what they are, I'm going to tell you exactly how to use those to get those people to come to you. So I preach to my team all the time. If you take nothing else from me, take this 12-step lead generation handbook and work it. If you find yourself bored or saying you have no appointments, nothing to do that day, pick up the 12-step lead generation guidebook and pick one, okay? Because most of us would be very happy, especially newer agents, they'd be happy to sell 12 homes in a year. They'd be happy to sell 24 homes, right? All it takes is one deal from each one of these steps over the course of an entire year. These are things that you can work on every day. And if you can't convert one person out of 365 days, you're doing something wrong. Maybe sales isn't for you, but I guarantee that you can. And not only one person, I think you can convert multiple from each platform. So think about it. If you only get one person from each way, you're doing 12 deals that year. That's not including referrals and business that you get from friends and family. Okay, so you're now talking about 15, 20 deals. If you can get 2 deals from each source, which is very, very easily done, you're adding 24 deals to your yearly total. Okay, now you're doing 30, 35, 40. And that is super, super valuable. It's something that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So thank you so much for watching this. I'm going to be sharing a link in the group for you guys to go on and join the course that begins Monday. I want to talk about a couple things for the next 5 minutes while we're on here about the course. So today, as you guys are obviously aware, today is a free course. This course is something that my team doesn't actually pay me money to help them, but they're part of my team, and they've given up a lot to be on that team and to get coached by me. This is a course that I've developed over the last 6, 7, 8 years that I've been in the business. It's something that I've poured hours and hours into. I've put my heart and soul into this course, and so I want to share it with you guys. But the course is going to be a paid course, okay? I'm trying to make it as affordable as I possibly can for everybody, okay? There's 10 chapters, 10 different topics that we're going to be going over, and I want to do it for under $10 each, okay? So the course is going to be $99 for the entire thing. Out of that $99, I'm donating 10% of all the proceeds to a COVID-19 food drive that we're going to be supplying and cooking meals for nurses and first responders. My team manager, Max, is kind of spearheading that and taking that on. It's something that's very important to him. But we're going to be going out and buying hundreds and hundreds of meals for everybody. So part of these proceeds are going to go to that. It's a great cause. It's less than $10 a chapter to literally change your life. We all know that in real estate sales, you sell one house, you're making at least a few $1,000s, even if it's a low end home. So $100 to change your career is the best investment you're going to make in your life, maybe. So I'm going to put the link to sign up for that. It starts Monday. I'm also going to be doing a poll. If you guys maybe want to comment now, I think a lot of people have been saying that 10 days is a lot to commit to, right? I've had a lot of people that reached out to me and said, hey, I can watch, 6 out of the 10 days, but I have other commitments, even with the pandemic and being locked in your house. 10 days consistently is a lot. So I can shift this to a 10-hour course, and we can do it in 5 days, 2 hours a day. I was going to do 1 hour per day over the course of 10 days, but I think it'd be much more beneficial to everybody to do it in 5 days. So starting next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day next week, starting at 1 p.m. from 1 to 3, we're going to do 2 hours a day, and it's going to be a 10-hour course. And in 1 week, from Monday through Friday, I promise you, you will be a completely different realtor, and you are on your way to changing your life and your career and doing way more business. A question came in, can we cover how to build a team and what to offer them to make them want to work for you? Yes, absolutely, we can cover that. That's something that I'm going to talk about towards the end of the course because I want to go over the basics and the fundamentals first. But once you have that stuff down and you want to start growing a team, or if you're already there and you want to start growing a team, I will 100% dive into exactly what I've done to build my team, how I structure my team, commission splits, everything from A to Z on what I've done to build my team to where it is today. So just last year, my team was only 3 people. It was me and 2 other agents. Now we're up to 9, and we were just ranked the number 6 RE/MAX team in the entire state of New Jersey. So again, the system that I've built out, the things that I've done are proven. I'm not just talking here. Stuff. So actually, yes, we 100% will cover how to build a successful team from the ground up. Is there any other questions that you guys have for me while I'm still on here? Got a couple more minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this last hour. I know you guys have other things to do, but again, I really am super passionate that this will change the course of your career and life. It has for me. It has for a lot of my agents. As you can see from Mike there, Mike's a guy that literally went from 0 to on his way to be a top producer. So couldn't be more happy for him, and I want to see all you guys do the same. If you have any specific questions about the course, you can message me on Facebook, you can DM me on Instagram. You can also email me. You can email me at course@theventryteam.com or sal@theventryteam.com. I'll answer either one. Any questions I'm open to. And again, guys, I want to make this as beneficial to you as humanly possible. I've spent years putting this stuff together. So I hope that you find it beneficial. I hope that you're excited to join. I know I'm excited to start it on Monday. I look forward to meeting all you guys, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to post the link to actually join the course that starts on Monday. You're going to have all weekend to go in, buy your ticket, join the class. Monday at 12:59, I'm going to be removing anyone out of the group that hasn't paid for the course, okay? So make sure you do that over the course of the weekend. I'll be emailing and sending reminders to do that. But I look forward to seeing you guys there. And again, remember, 10% of the proceeds are going to COVID-19 food drive. So this is something that's going to be benefiting everybody. Oh, wait, we got more. Ed, dang, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, Ed. Absolutely. What are the chapter topics that I will cover? Thank you, Amelia. That's actually something that I just talked about for the last hour, but the syllabus course photo is going to be posted in the group. It's already posted in the group, but I will post it again so you can see exactly what the topics that I am going to cover are on, and that's going to be in the actual group. So Amelia, if you just go back into the timeline, you'll see that picture there, okay? Does anybody else have more questions? Melissa? Anything? Max, did you see anything? No? Good. All right, guys, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you guys Monday. Bye.